Well, my wife is kind of the food manager for our house, and she has been um, having us try pro-metabolic eating for a while, and she found your, I think it might have been Instagram channel um, while doing that, and that had been a good movement for us. It just, we felt better as a family, and so we were kind of building on that. And she really liked your content. She wanted me to check it out, and I trust her. And so because of that, we looked at the program, and I liked it. And I think one of the things that appealed to me was just your approach to sustainability. Um, and it's very realistic, it's very practical, and that was really appealing to us. So yeah, that was how we found you and what was exciting to us about it. One of the things I realized about myself was it's all well and good to do kind of a drastic program for a month, but the thing that really matters is, can you make long-term changes? And and so uh, I was looking for something that would help me not just see some quick results, but long-term pattern changes. And um, th that's the kind of thing that helped me feel like I would actually see um, the kinds of results that I wanted to see 20 years from now, not just, by the end of this year. Some blood work had come back from just a yearly physical, um, and I had been diagnosed as pre-diabetic, and so there was, I think, some concern there because it was like, all right, I've been given this chance to uh, do something about this before it's too late. So what can we do? And so that, yeah, that I think that was concerning and kind of kicked some things into action for me and for our family. Um, and yeah, that was one of the driving forces there. Back when we did blood work last March, it was at 5.9, and so that would have been when I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic. Um, and most recently, we actually switched life insurance providers, and we did an exam, and it was down to 5.1. And so very tangible, not just good results, but good results that supported better life insurance rates. So very real um, uh, positive consequences from working on that. The thing I was looking for was also the thing that I was skeptical of, because I was looking for something that would help me make those long-term changes, the behavior changes, and that is also the thing that is the hardest thing to do. And so I think, um, you know, the skepticism is, you know, uh, do you really have the ability to help me save myself from myself? That's the skepticism, I think, because it's just really hard. And and so yeah, I think if there was any skepticism, I think that's where it would have been. Like, I know the science is good. And I think Lisa really loved your content, and so it's like, clearly this is good stuff. The question is, like, can it take? So the sustainability goal went hand in hand with, like, wanting to have better energy throughout the day. And so there's kind of this sense of, like, can I make those changes in a way that, like, it'll cascade into better energy for myself and for my family, so that I can then continue to make better choices the next day, you know? Um, and so, can I get to that virtuous cycle? Um, and so the things that I think helped with that was just like very practical, realistic conversation about how does a family of five uh, plan their meals? How do they plan to have, protein that's just like readily available? And a lot of it just comes down to kind of talking through the basics of that. Like, how do you plan ahead so that you can have these things just in the fridge, for the right kinds of snacks, the right kinds of small meals and big meals. Um, and so I think I really appreciated the practicality of that in figuring those out. And then I think also there's the recognition that like not all, or maybe even not most humans are able to just like make drastic changes just like that. And a lot of the time it has to start with a small snowball, and having to, what could you do from an exercise standpoint? How could you get a little bit more protein in your diet at the beginning of the day? These kinds of things. Let's just start there. Let's start with those things, and it's easier to build those kind of small habits, um, so that it doesn't feel like you're uh, staring at this massive thing. I think that is one of the challenges, is because um, I th I might say like, oh yeah, I could do X, Y, or Z in like a normal week. Um, and then you take a step back and you look back at your year and you're like, oh wait, I don't think I've ever had a normal week. And so the moment that you plan for normality is the moment that it just like goes out the window. And so the question is, are you building the kind of things that can have the resilience to carry through? Even when you have to travel, when you're in transition, when you've got, kids that are running around and you need to be able to play with them, or you need to be able to take care of them. And so that's where those small things can help, because it's not just like a diet schedule. You're talking about building really like different instincts, and different um, go-to routines. And so it's not just, do I eat this thing at this time? It's, am I like oriented toward balanced meals? So that every time that's happening, am I thinking about how much protein am I having versus, how many carbs? And that's the thing that's hard to do. And so if you can start with those small things, then it's easier for them to be remembered in those more chaotic moments, or in transitional moments, or in crazy weeks. It's one of the things that with most adults, they don't have to remember to have coffee in the morning, right? Like that's just automatic. And so you start to ask yourself, well, what would it be if like I automatically remembered um just to have some, meat and cheese, or just some Greek yogurt when I have that coffee. That's one really practical thing that has really changed for me, is like I've gotten to the point where it's not just like coffee in the morning, it's what do I have that's actually going to give me the right kind of energy for the day? And coffee's fine, but having that with, with some Greek yogurt is now just kind of part of the routine. And that's been great. That was definitely kind of a recurring thing where I would just feel like the need to take a short power nap in the afternoon. And nothing against naps. I love a good nap. Um, but uh, even when they're done well, um, I do find myself I found myself wondering if there could be something better. And even when I did take a short power nap, I would still often just feel very drowsy at the end of the day. Um, and so, uh, again, we looked at it holistically, right? We looked at not just the food, but also how do we plan for that? Like, are we building the right kinds of like bedtime strategies, and what are we eating right before bed, you know? And so we talked through that. And so we, getting to a place where I was consistently, getting to bed at a good time, getting better amounts of sleep, but then also in the afternoon, not defaulting to another cup of coffee, but like, am I getting the kind of lunch that I need in the middle of the day? Are there snacks that I can eat if I need energy? There's probably good things that I could eat that will have a better kind of energy and longer energy. And so, yeah, just demonstrable effects there of at the end of the day, just having a better attitude, being able to jump on the trampoline with my kids when they want me to, that kind of thing. And yeah, you feel better about yourself. You feel like a better version of yourself, at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and it creates a better atmosphere in the home. Also, like I didn't say this, but like I don't really take naps during the day on weekdays anymore. And so I do have that energy at the end of the day, and then I feel more productive with my time during the day as well. Well, there's something that's I think really important in the post-COVID world where a lot of folks are working at home, where you don't have um, there's benefits and drawbacks, right? On one hand, like you might not have the commute, and you might get an hour or more back to your day, and that's great. But there's also an element where that commute can be like a buffer and a chance to kind of recuperate and switch modes kind of thing. And so now, you might finish work and immediately you're jumping into making dinner or doing something with the family. And so having that energy is really important to be able to switch modes like that without it just like feeling just like too much, like you can't handle it. It's important, I think, to take that time for yourself, maybe in different ways and different places. Um, but a lot of it is just, being able to plan for it. Like, what does it look like to plan your workday so that you come out of it, you know, feeling like you can, move into this other mode. Um, and do it in a healthy way. And that's okay. Like we can do that as humans and then it's about making sure you get the right kind of rest at night and stuff like that. But a huge part of that is how are you eating throughout the day? Is the energy that you're getting kind of building in the right way that you can move between these different places and different modes in a way that's healthy. I think the cholesterol was higher levels in the initial blood work, and then by the time that we did this exam for the insurance switch, it was down to I think we said near optimal levels is what it ended up being. Your program is um, a great pairing of regular accountability, which is something everyone needs in their life. And so if you got someone who can do that, that's great. Who's gonna check in on you and help you circle back to the goals that you have. But I think in that area in particular, you have a good focus on talking through with someone, okay, what are the realistic goals that you're gonna try and accomplish between now and the next session. And so, on one hand, you've got that regular accountability that has, I think, there's expertise with that and how to do that well that you bring. And then there's the actual, like the science behind it of like how, what are the specific choices that you can make to balance meals better that are going to contribute to these things. And so having those two things together is just a really, really strong combo that leads to the kind of lasting change that a lot of folks are looking for. I mean, how many people try diets and fitness programs all the time, and folks will go and they'll do cardio all day, and they won't be seeing the results that they're hoping for, and they're wondering why. And so, yeah, you really do need both of those things together. I think to get the foundation that people are looking for when they want lasting change. I'll just say thank you. It is, we're not just talking about, how we look. Um, it's about how you feel, how you treat people, how you are as a whole person. And that comes down to your habits, the food that you eat, the way that you approach your time during the day. And so I really appreciate the way that you've come at this, and I think that it's something that is really, really valuable for people. So I'm very thankful.